Hello everyone and welcome back to part 2 of Towergate for this Saturday morning edition. I said there's so much news, it may take 2 videos and it looks like that's what it's going to take, so welcome back. Now let's finish up on this last point I was making, just to kind of summarize this. What we have is Comey and McCabe now being forced to turn on each other. Because Comey is denying that he knew about these leaks and that this conversation ever happened. The FBI OPR report is saying that not only did McCabe not tell Comey about the leaks, he's directly denied authorizing them, even though they have the proof, they have the texts, they have the information, the evidence that Comey directed Lisa Page to communicate the story to Mr. Devlin over there at the Wall Street Journal. So here we have a direct dispute. McCabe and his lawyers saying, oh, McCabe's got proof from some texts from October 2016 that prove that he was having talks with Comey about the fact that they were going to put this story into the Wall Street Journal. But Comey's denying it, and the Office of Professional Responsibility of the FBI, via the Inspector General and the Inspector General's report, deny it. They say it's not true. Somebody is wrong and somebody is right. Either McCabe did share this information with Comey or he didn't. And it appears that in his interview with on 4 different occasions, McCabe has lied. He's saying, I told Comey he knew what I was doing, but the evidence and Comey himself appear to put that in dispute. And that puts Comey and McCabe in dispute. It pits them against one another. One of them's lying, one of them's telling the truth. And neither at this time are cooperating. Neither are cooperating. And this is what's going to happen. As this continues on, the next dispute will probably be between Priestep and Yates, because they too were working as a team. And they too had the same type of thing going on. And it's going to be a he said, she said sort of thing. And these types of things, once the report comes out and indictments start coming down, these individuals will be seeking lawyers. Most of them already have lawyers in anticipation of what is going to happen, and their lawyer is going to advise them in their best interest. And that's going to pit these people against one another. That's exactly what's going to happen, and that's when it starts to unravel. It's a matter of timing. Like I said, time is of the essence. Because if this thing doesn't shake itself out, if it can be drug out past the midterm elections, things could get very, very bad for the home team, if you know what I mean, for the MAGA team. That's why we need to accelerate the process, Mr. Horowitz. Chuck Ross from the Daily Caller. You're going to like this story. Joseph Misconduct, also known as the professor and source B and D in the dossier, who's completely 100% denied being the source in the dossier, has completely denied the claims made by him in the dossier. And the primary claim made by Misconduct was that he told Papadopoulos in London that the Russians had damaging information on Clinton, specifically emails, documents, damaging documents. This is what Misconduct supposedly told Papadopoulos. Of course, Papadopoulos was charged with lying about this because Mr. Misconduct denies it. But here's something that's quite interesting. It's just been dug up by Chuck Ross of the Daily Caller. There's your source, my friends. Joseph Misford, the professor, claimed to be a member of the Clinton Foundation. Misford told this to an Italian news outlet in November of 2017. Misford told the reporter he was a member of the European Council on Foreign Relations and a Clinton Foundation member. He admitted to being a left-leaning thinker on politics. And he also said in this interview that he had predicted Brexit would pass and that Trump would win the election. This is very interesting because, once again, it doesn't surprise us that Misford would have a connection to the Clintons, because everything leads back to the Clintons because it was a Clinton operation. Oh, yeah. Oh, there was no Russians. The only Russians were Mr. Shearer, sitting there at the kitchen table, probably with Podesta and Slick Willie and some of the others, along with their friends operating over there at Fusion GPS. Mr. Simpson and his wife, along with their good friend Nellie Orr and her hubby Bruce, moving information back and forth from the DOJ NSD Intel division over to Fusion GPS, giving it to, what's her name? Nellie, who probably on her ham radio was dispatching it to the launderer, Christopher Steele, cycling it right back through the FBI. Papadopoulos, of course, pled guilty to lying to the FBI just days earlier. Just prior to this interview that Misford did with this Italian news organization. Just prior to that, Papadopoulos pled guilty to lying to the FBI about his contacts with Misford and two Russian nationals. Why did Papadopoulos lie about contacts with Misford? What the FBI is saying, or what Mueller, and we're talking about Mueller actually here, it's what he told Mueller's people. Why would Papadopoulos make up a story that Misford was his source for the Russians having damaging information? Maybe Papadopoulos is telling the truth. Maybe Misford did say that. Maybe it's Misford who's lying. One of the charges made by Mueller against Papadopoulos was that Papadopoulos was told by Misford in London in April of 2016 that the Russian government had possession of thousands of Clinton-related emails. Someone's lying. And Mueller's team obviously believes that it's Papadopoulos, because he's the guy they charged with making this false statement. They didn't charge Misford. They charged Papadopoulos. So that means Mueller must believe Papadopoulos did it. He also is guilty, I think there was a total of 7 or 11, I can't remember, 7 or 11 false statements made by Papadopoulos. Misford denies everything. Question. It appears that Misford claimed to have talked or claimed to have had ties to the Clinton Foundation, even saying he was a member. And it appears that he said that to deny that he had anything to do with the Clinton email situation, the investigation or scandal or anything like that. So in other words, it's believed that he may have claimed to have been a supporter of the Clintons or Clinton Foundation to cover his butt, because he was being accused by Papadopoulos and in the dossier of being the person who had this information about Russians or whatever and giving that information to Papadopoulos. This is the charge that was made about Misford, and he wanted to somehow make it look like, oh, well, I wouldn't release bad stuff on Hillary or be a participant in that, because I'm a big supporter. I'm a member of the Clinton Foundation. This is what is believed to be maybe the motivation for him to have made that statement, which appears to be false. Because a search for Misfud on the Clinton Foundation website shows nothing of Misfud being a member of the Clinton Foundation. Doesn't mean he wasn't, it just means he's not important enough to be listed as an officer of the Clinton Foundation. But he may have had some connection in some other way. We don't know. But there was also a search of their donor database, and it turned up 2 donations of $250 from one Joseph Misfud and another Joseph J. Misfud. The dates of the donations are not shown on the Clinton Foundation website, and the Clinton Foundation has not responded to multiple requests for comment. So, is Misfud lying? Is he lying about having some connection as having a role in the Clinton Foundation? And is he one or possibly both of these $250 donations? What is Mr. Misfud's connection to the Clintons? It seems that every time you discover a rat and you dig into the rat's hole and you go down that rat hole, you find the presence of a Clinton, the effervescence that a Clinton has been in the area. Evidence that the rotten reverend is somewhere lurking underneath, behind, beneath, around, encompassing the entire crime. Everywhere you look, you end up, you dig. What do you find? Clinton, the rotten reverend, Johnny on the spot. Where there's a crime, you'll find a Clinton. Of course, when they get caught with the crime, they immediately go into idiot mode. Oh, you mean that C in this intelligence report meant classified? I didn't know that. I thought C was like labeling, numbering like a paragraph. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Yes, Reverend, that's why there is no A, B, C, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Only C's. Only C's, Reverend. What do you think that means? Well, you know, as a basic E1 private in the Army, in my first, maybe 2 months in the Army, as an E1 private, I learned that the C stands for classified. It's the rotten reverend playing dumb. That's what they always do. She did it during the Whitewater investigation. Pretended, bad land deals, crooked land deals. I don't know anything about it. Talk to the people who are running the show. I was just doing some legal work. Ask them. I don't know anything. I'm the rotten reverend. When it comes time for an election, I'm the smartest person on the planet. The most qualified person ever. Should have been the prez. But when caught in a crime, idiot mode. I'm an idiot. I don't know shit about shit. That's the rotten Reverend Clinton. Shall we talk about the Towergate affair? Let's not, and say we did. It's equally boring, but just another example of Clinton going stupid. What documents? Oh, you mean the ones in our bedroom that you've subpoenaed for the last year that we thought disappeared? Oh, turned out to be in our bedroom closet. Son of a bitch. Hell yes. That's right, folks. It's Comedy Central, is it not? Freaking Comedy Central. Just tell the truth. It's hilariously fucking funny. Sorry if I offended you with that F-bomb. Oh. I guess that was a microaggression. Well, at least it's not Easter Sunday. It's the day before. I guess I get a Passover on that one. Well, it appears that Kim.com is still tweeting away about his favorite subject. That would be Seth Rich. He asked the question on a tweet: why do Hillary Clinton, the Rotten Reverend, sick Hillary, why does the Rotten Reverend and her lawyers and the DNC invest so much energy to cover up the truth? His answer is that because the fake Russia story and Mueller's deep state witch hunt of Trump end with Seth Rich. Boom. Man, oh man. I wonder if he's been watching my videos. Absolutely. As you know, I don't believe that the Russians wrote a damn thing. I don't think the Christopher Steele had any Russian sources. I think that document was created right there in the bowels of Washington, D.C. with the Reverend, her collaborators over at Fusion GPS, the crooked folks over in the FBI and DOJ NSD division, Mr. Orr and his wife Nellie, and they laundered it all through Christopher Steele. Right back in a loop. They created it, gave it to Steele, and he passed it on to the FBI and the CIA via British intelligence. That's what happened. And when you get right down to it, that entire Russia story was all cooked up when? Right after Seth Rich downloaded those files and transferred them to WikiLeaks. When you dig back into this story and go all the way back, and you want to find the origins of the Russiagate, Russia-Trump thing, the origins of everything, the FISA warrants, the counter-intel operation, the insurance policy, the frame-up, whatever, you go back, and where you find everything begins is with the fact that the DNC finding out that someone on the inside downloaded a bunch of emails. They probably went through the logs in that FTP server, the file transfer protocol server, probably the email server, probably had 2 or 3, 4 separate servers just to handle email with, you're talking about the DNC, a lot of email traffic, a lot of email accounts, a lot of activity, probably multiple servers, multiple backup servers. They probably brought in CrowdStrike who said, uh-oh, you got someone on the inside and look what they've downloaded. Here's all the files they got. Let's have a look at those. So they knew what was downloaded. They knew what was going to come out. And they needed to find a scapegoat. So they had to take care of Seth, take care of that problem. As Podesta said in his email, make an example out of him. Oh yeah. Make an example out of him, which they did. And then they had to create the story, the backstory, to cover everything up as to who would have, instead of having to come out and tell the truth and say, yeah, one of our guys on the inside got pissed off. He was a Bernie fan. Pissed off, thought he'd get back at the Clintons and the DNC for screwing Bernie, so he released all this stuff to WikiLeaks, and man, oh man, what a mess. Can't say that. So they got to do away with Seth Rich, shut him and his family up. Then they have to create a narrative to cover their butts. And that's how they created the Russian narrative, which led to the dossier, which led to the FISA court warrants, which began the insurance policy, the frame-up, the counterintelligence operation against Trump. And you go back to the origins and you dig down into this hole. When you get to the bottom, that's where you begin with the emails being downloaded out of the DNC, the discovery of that, the need to handle and deal with that. That is where it all began. Kim.com is absolutely correct. Mark Meadows. I'm sure you're familiar with him, right? says that the Obama White House was leading the investigation on the Trump campaign. Boom. Well, wasn't it just yesterday that I said, when I was talking about what would I consider to be a bombshell? And I said, well, I would think that there's a couple things that could be bombshells, because for the most part, most of the things that we're going to learn, we already know in theory. We're just probably going to get some more details and some more pieces of the puzzle. But probably many of us will not be shocked when the Inspector General report says, oh yeah, the FBI was given access to third-party contractors to the NSA database. Oh yeah, they were planning on running a counter-intel operation against Trump to get this FISA warrant, lying to the FISA court to get it, and covering up what the source and who the source really was and what it was all about and who was involved in it, who was paying for it, the whole 9 yards. And I said that if the Inspector General put out in his report anything that ties or laces, connects the administration, the Obama administration, to all these activities that were going on at the FBI, the DOJ, with the Clinton campaign, Fusion GPS, Christopher Steele, because up to now, as far as the general public is concerned and the general news media, the Obama administration has not really been physically tied with evidence to all that stuff that was going on. They're sitting back, Loretta Lynch, Obama, Rice, Powers, Rhodes, all the people in the cabinet, Obama's cabinet, are sitting back going, huh, what happened? Oh, well, we didn't know that happened. Dossier? What's that? What happened? Oh, FISA court? An investigation into Trump? Oh, we don't. But lately, based on this most recent release of Page Strzok text, it now becomes obvious not only to Mr. Meadows, but to you and me and everyone else, exactly what we knew, which is that the Obama administration was totally in on the plan, along with, we're going to learn next, the Clinton campaign. I told you, 3 shoes really have to drop. Proof of what the FBI and DOJ did in this criminal operation, the frame-up, then the fact that they collaborated with the Obama administration itself, and then the fact that, to top it all off, the trifecta, it was the Clinton, Clinton herself, her campaign, were also connected and involved. All 3 of these tracks moving together as one in a collaborated effort. They were all in on it together. And as I said, what would be a major bombshell is if Horowitz dropped evidence that showed that the Obama administration was involved in this counter-intel operation against Trump and fixing the email investigation and everything else. And also, and now so we have those 2 pretty much proven. So if that comes out in the IG report, that will be a major bombshell. But if, in fact, the IG report comes out and produces evidence or makes the assertion, backed up by any evidence at all, that it was not just the FBI and DOJ operating sort of, under the wire without Obama and Comey and Lynch knowing about any of this, if we learn that all those people knew, they were all involved, Obama, Comey, Lynch, Rice, Powers, Rhodes, McDonough, all those people totally involved in the operation, and in addition to that, they were collaborating and working with Clinton's people, who she was plugging in here and there. Cody Shearer, what's her other buddy? From the State Department. What's his name? I think you know what I'm talking about. Jonathan Weiner. And also Sidney Blumenthal. And probably others. Maybe Mr. Misfit. Maybe Papagalopoulos. Maybe Mr. Downer. Down the hatch, Alexander Down the Hatch Downer. Who likes to wear stockings and high heels on occasion. And collaborate with deep state underworld black ops type intelligence things and such. And a big fan of the Clintons and the Clinton Foundation, posed in pictures with them, a close personal friend of Bill Clinton. Yeah, so if the Inspector General, as Mr. Meadows is saying, states in his report that there was collaboration not just with what was going on with the FBI and all that, but he ties it directly to the Obama administration, that would be bombshell. Bombshell. Boom. Bombshell. You put it in the Obama White House, a lot of people start getting really nervous. Really nervous. And I expect that that is exactly what's going to eventually, where we're going to get unless Mueller and the deep state are successful at running the clock out, dragging it out, dragging it out, dragging it out, until they can drop something in October and turn the Congress so that they can put a stop to all of this and rescue themselves. It's quite the drama that we have playing out, is it not? Tick, 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 tick. Mueller, Uncle Bob, the special executioner, and the Hillary donor posse are now digging into investigating Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General. Specifically, the 2016 RNC convention where Sessions met Mr. Kislyak, the Russian ambassador. Now, Sessions has stated under oath in his testimony, and this is one of the reasons that he recused himself, is that there was never any meeting, that there was never any private meeting with Mr. Kislyak at the RNC convention where they met, which Sessions described as a handshake, a smile, hi, how you doing, a minute or two of chit-chat with lots and lots of people standing around, and that was the end of it. That there was no, they went back to a room or someplace else and had a private meeting and discussed policy and things and such. According to Sessions, there was no discussion of policy, no private meeting, no elongated meeting, no elaborated meeting. It was a quick, oh, hi, how you doing? Yeah, I'm Jeff Sessions. Yeah, you're the Russian. Oh, yeah, how you doing? Good to see you again. How's the wife? How's the kids? How's the car? How's blah, 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 blah. Boom. Hey, well, good to see you. Hey, see you. Boom. That was it. That's what happened. Nothing. A big nothing. It doesn't matter. Mueller is now digging into Sessions. And I wonder how Jeff Sessions feels about the fact that Uncle Bob is now digging into his shit. I wonder if that annoys the overachiever, the eager beaver, known as Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General, who now finds himself being a target of Mueller and his investigation